Our strength, Suaangan, is in our people. I'm Janine Blake. This past season on Suaangan, we've brought you profiles of some of our beneficiaries to showcase their accomplishments. Mary Okina is an artist from Holman. She finds inspiration in our culture and in everyday life for her stencil printing.
It's everyday life, what children say, and just, the way when they're trying to do things, you see them doing, other little things. It just gives me ideas. And a lot of them are from in here, like how I feel. Like I do my prints, all my prints is, from in here, how I feel, how they make me feel. And that's how I like people to buy them from in here, how it makes them feel. To me, it's really important to carry on our culture to our younger generation and our language, the way we live, the way they survive. Well, our ancestors lived to, survive on the land. And to me, all those are really important. Our food, the way we prepare food, the way we hunt, respect the animals, respect the land, and in turn they'll respect you. And those are the kind of things that that have to be carried on, because our life is changing so fast, and the people in the South, don't really know that, and they think it's, when they come north, it's, like it was the way it was long ago, but it's not. So for our culture and our tradition, and that to carry it on, to pass it on down to our children, so that it won't, don't become history, just history. That is really important for us people in the north, plus that the people in the south, if they knew our culture and that, they'd know how it was when we were living. And it's really important to know about your culture and about the way your ancestors lived on our land, so that they could know who they are and where they came from and be proud of who they are when they grow up.
Our second program was on the Norterra group of companies. Norterra Incorporated is a Canadian management and holding company owned equally by the Inuvialuit Development Corporation and Nunisi Corporation. They represent the Inuvialuit of the Western Arctic and the Inuit of Nunavut, who are Norterra's beneficial shareholders. Headquartered in Inuvik, Northwest Territories, IDC operates and conducts business through more than 16 subsidiary enterprises in 6 business sectors: environmental services and project management, property management, manufacturing, transportation, and northern services. IDC is owned 100% by the Inuvialuit Regional Corporation, who is controlled by the 2,700 Inuvialuit beneficial shareholders. The Nunisi Corporation is owned by the Inuit of Nunavut. The corporation was formed by the then Inuit Tapiritzit of Canada in 1978. This was put in place to assist the future of the beneficiaries of the 1994 Nunavut Land Claims Agreement. Nunisi is committed to providing their shareholders with the best return on their investments. After our program on the Norterra group of companies, we brought you profiles of beneficiaries that are employed within the group. The first beneficiary from the Norterra group that we profiled was Captain Cecil Hansen, a pilot for Canadian North. He's originally from Aklavik, Northwest Territories.
12 years in Australia, and now it's back home.
From Aklavik to Australia.
Yeah, it is a big move, and there are a lot of airplanes. From the time I left Aklavik till I got to Australia, I left my first job with Fred was flying a 180 on floats, and my last flight in Australia was on a 747-400 from Japan to Sydney with 411 people on board. The best part of flying for Canadian North is coming up places like Inuvik and even into places like Iqaluit, and run into people that I met so many years ago and haven't seen for so long. Sometimes I make a PA, and a lot of people are checking with the flight attendants. Is that Cecil Hansen from Inuvik? And they say yes. And of course, I got to go back for a quick visit. I'm enjoying that part of it immensely. It's so good to have people recognize my name and remember me from before. And they're all so proud of me when they find out that I'm flying the airplane.
Yeah, he's great, and I'm very proud of him. You know, when all those boys, when I see, you know, them flying 737s and wearing the uniform and 4 bars, and it makes me proud. And especially when I saw Cease on the jumbo jet, that one of our boys right from the trap line to a jumbo jet was really makes us all proud, I'm sure, you know.
We also covered the Inuvik Petroleum Show 2002 that was held at the Midnight Sun Recreation Complex here in Inuvik.
I'm Brian Desjardins. I'm with the Town of Inuvik. I'm the Tourism Fundraising Coordinator and the Inuvik Petroleum Show Coordinator. This year we had probably about over 600 delegates. We had about 110 exhibitors in the trade show area with an average of 2 staff per booth, so you're looking at about 220 people there. In the conference we had about 350 delegates registered, so in the end that was over 600 people.
We met or knew each other or got together last year at the Petroleum Show, our first Petroleum Show, and we're glad that most of you are back. We're glad there's a lot of new faces here. In the past year, there's been a lot of exciting developments with oil and gas development, pipeline development, and that's what we're here today to discuss, ask questions. A lot of community members here to find out what's going on, how that affects their community, and we hope in the next 2 days between the conference and the trade show that everyone is able to get something and benefit from the 2 days that we've been able to put together.
Focus on local business, service companies, to ensure that they're prepared and are continuing to prepare for the oil and gas industry, particularly the Mackenzie Valley Pipeline, if that was to ever happen. As well, this year we focused on health and wellness, the effects of the oil and gas exploration and the dollar flow that will happen in such a small community, in a northern community.
The second beneficiary profile from the Norterra Group was Gordon Norberg, the Manager of Marketing and Traffic Coordination West for NTCL.
They're a very good company to work for. We'd need to break it down probably into at least 2 seasons. We're very seasonally oriented at this time, and this is something that the company is trying to move away from by diversifying. But primarily, the summer months are consumed with moving cargo north and on a 24-hour basis. And so May through to October, we're very busy moving cargo. My job is to coordinate the movement of all that cargo to where it's supposed to go. In the off season, there's all of the other activities that kick in, and that's the marketing side, which are partly responsible for the Western Arctic and especially in the Particular region, so that you're visiting customers, soliciting more business, paying visits to people in the communities, and seeing if we can do things better.
In the fall, we brought you programs with 3 Inuvik beneficiaries who are members of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
Corporal Wayne Norris and his brother Constable Adolphus Norris serve in the Royal Canadian Mounted Police G Division at headquarters in Yellowknife, Northwest Territories.
Constable Colin Allen Jr., originally from Inuvik, Northwest Territories, serves in the Hay River Detachment. We'll see what made these men decide to become members of the RCMP.
I have had, I guess, somewhat lucky growing up in Inuvik. I had a close friendship with Merle Carpenter, who's also a regular member in the RCMP. His father, who I developed a fairly close relationship with, had a strong influence on myself deciding to look at the RCMP as a career. I started out, when I started looking at it, I looked at the time was the Special Constable program, which is where I started, and I did that for just over 2 years. And then I looked at the regular member program and was promoted just after about 2 years. My two brothers, Adolphus and Dino, I guess, both had the same right kind of influences because they were both interested in joining the RCMP and did so.
My name is Constable Adolphus Norris. I work in Yellowknife at the Yellowknife Detachment here in G Division. I've been here for approximately a year. I work for detachment, and I work on all kinds of investigations. General duty work. There's all types of work here. You have all types of a good population segment.
I guess 2 years I was doing a summer student program with the RCMP in Inuvik, and that's what made me interested in joining the force. And after graduation, I didn't meet the requirements to become a constable, but over time there was another opportunity given for me to pass the exam, at which I did, and that's when I went to training in 1999.
We brought you Christmas greetings in the 12 Days of Christmas ICS style.
On the 12th day of Christmas, my Nana gave to me 12 geese a roasting, 11 dancers drumming, 10 jigglers jiggling,
9 rolls of snare wire,
8 drumming, 8 telegraph throwing, 7 dogs of buckpicks, 6 Gibeon sweaters, 5 pails of mucktack, 4 give look nahal, 3 rubber boot, 2 hind quarters, and a Cadillac in a birch tree. Kuya picturing me, I see. Was that good? Yeah.
Producer Robert Kaptana and writer Danica Lunik from the town of Inuvik brought you a program on the controversial firearms legislation. Inuvik elder Ishmael Lunik said the Inuvialuit have had guns for about 200 years. He said whalers brought muzzle loaders to the region during the late 1800s. He added that Alaskan Inupiat got guns when Alaska still belonged to the Russians. He also said in the late 1800s, when the Hudson Bay Company started selling muzzle loaders to the Indians, that they would stack the beaver pelts the height of the muzzle loader, and that was the price that they paid. That's what made the Hudson Bay Company rich, he said. It wasn't until the early 1900s that rifles like .30-30s and .22 calibers started being used in the region. The Inuvialuit custom of a father handing down his guns to his children is in danger because of the new firearms legislation. If a father wants to pass on his guns, they must ensure the children have a possession and acquisition license. As of January 1st, 2003, if you own a firearm and haven't registered it yet, you are now considered a criminal by the Canadian justice system. The Firearms Act, passed into law in 1995, states that if a person fails or inadvertently forgets to register their firearms, they face a maximum penalty of a $2,000 fine and are 6 months in jail.
The action?
This week on Suaangan, we'll show you what had to be done to get your firearm registered and reaction to the new Firearms Act by Inuvialuit beneficiaries.
People using them for robbery, for killing people.
In order to register your firearms, you must own a possession and acquisition certificate in order to possess and register firearms. The Inuvik Hunters and Trappers Committee resource person Donna Hansen has been helping its membership register their firearms since the end of November 2002. She takes the applicant's name, address, the type of firearm, its make, caliber or gauge, model, whether or not it's a single shot or repeater, bolt, lever, or pump action, their PAL number, and the firearm serial number. She then enters the information online to the Canadian Firearms Centre.
Hi there, Donna.
Hi, Robert.
I'm here to register my rifle. Do I have to pay to register my rifle?
No, you don't. It's free up until January 1st.
But if you do fill out the forms and mail it, that'll cost you $18. I'll just take some information and we'll go on the internet and register it there.
Yeah, okay.
Not even one person interviewed by Suaangan said that they use their firearms other than for subsistence harvesting. They said they use their high-caliber rifles for hunting big game like caribou, moose, and beluga whales. They use smaller caliber rifles like a .22 for muskrats and rabbits and other small game. Our third beneficiary profile from the Norterra group was of Geddes Wilkie Jr. Originally from Saxe Harbor, Northwest Territories, Geddes now lives in Edmonton, Alberta. His training to become an engineer not only involves the educational component at NAIT, it also involves on-the-job training with Welco Beals Manufacturing Incorporated. Edmonton is a long way from Geddes' hometown of Saxe Harbor. We asked him to tell us about his family and his home community.
My parents are Geddes and Lena Wilkie. I have 2 brothers, 2 sisters, Elvis, Jim, Bridget, and Evelyn.
Suaangan will return after these messages for more in our year in review, so stay tuned to APTN. We also brought you a program on Beaufort Delta Self-Government with Chief Negotiator Bob Simpson and Inuvik field workers Shauna Kutuk and Martha Bernard. Our final beneficiary profile from the Norterra group was of Wanda Norwegian. Wanda Norwegian is originally from Tuktoyaktuk, Northwest Territories. She moved to Inuvik to attend Samuel Hearn Secondary School to complete senior high. She stayed at the Grolier Hall Residential School where she made many friends from all over the Northwest Territories. After high school, she went to college for a year and a half and decided to move back to the territories to work. She worked in various positions for organizations and governments, but she is now the Director of Human Resources and Career Development for Norterra Incorporated.
Norterra is a wonderful employer. The staff morale is great. They're very supportive. We've gone through a lot of changes, good changes. I've learned a lot. Their philosophies and beliefs and our goals and objectives are definitely something that I'm proud to be an employee of and to be a part of the rest of the group of companies.
We brought you a profile of Inuvik Boot Lake MLA Floyd Rowland.
Adopted to David and Olga Rowland when I was 5 days old. Moved to Reindeer Station right after that. Spent almost 2 years in Reindeer Station. We then moved to Inuvik and lived in Inuvik since. We've had a couple of houses moved around as the community was being built. And now with my family live on Boot Lake Road.
Producer Jojo Airy brought you programming on the importance of traditional dog mushing told through elder stories.
Pups, just to grease them up. That's all you use. Those days, people don't use lots of dogs here. They use 4, 5, 6 is the most. But they have lots of dogs, but they're, you know, when they move around, women have 3 dogs, men 4 dogs. Like that, that's how they move. And when you move too, you have to just put up camp in a place. You've got to have tent and stove and put spruce trees and cut wood.
On behalf of the board and staff of the Inuvialuit Communication Society, we wish you and yours a safe and happy summer season. Those were our programs for this year. Thank you for watching Suaangan. I'm your host, Janine Blake, and we'll see you back here in the fall. We'll leave you with some of our athletes at the Arctic Winter Games 2002 in Iqaluit, Nunavut.